All right, sounds like we've got a forum. So the meeting of the Technology Advisor Group is called to order. Craig, will you take a roll call, please?
Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. Tom Bacon. Mike Chickarone.
Present.
Chris Dalmullen. Travis Cutright.
Present.
Justin Fair. Robert Fisher.
Present.
Steve Holliday. Jim Keane. We have Tammy Hollowell for Tracy Mills.
Yep, present.
Thank you, Tammy. Greg Pataz. Phil Oslin. Sasan Baridazadi. Jeff Sheets.
Present.
Ed Winfield.
Yep.
Thanks, Ed. And Steen Hamburg.
Present.
Thank you. And we do have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Craig. Are there any members participating we have not called? So please remember to mute your phone/microphone when you're not speaking. And we'd like to welcome Steen Hambrick, CIO for the city of Phoenix, to the committee. Good seeing you, Steen. We hadn't had anybody from Phoenix in a while. Even when I was at Phoenix, we struggled to have somebody on the here, and so it's great to see you. Members of the public were asked to submit written comments related to the meeting on the MAG website within an hour of posted start time of the meeting. Craig, have we received any public comment?
We have not received comment on this or any other agenda item.
Awesome. All right, so next is the approval of the November 17th meeting minutes. Could I have a motion to recommend approval of the November 17th meeting minutes? Anybody?
So moved.
There we go. Thank you, Ed. Second.
Second by Mike Chickarone.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Craig's. Take a roll call. So
Okay. Tom Bacon.
Aye.
Thank you. Mike Chickarone.
Aye.
Kim Clark. Chris Dalmullen. Travis Cutright.
aye.
Justin Fair. Robert Fisher.
Aye.
Steen Hamburg. This is for approval of
Aye.
the minutes.
Yeah.
Steve Holliday.
Aye.
Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Jim Keane. Tammy Hollowell for Tracy Mills.
Aye.
Thank you. Phil Oslin. Greg Pataz. Dustin Paridazadi. Jeff Sheets.
Aye.
Ed Winfield.
Aye.
Motion approved.
All right. I went old school. Sorry about that,
No
Craig.
problem.
He kicked me under the table. You didn't see that.
That's what we can.
Committee members, at this time, we've got asset management. I brought this up during the last meeting. I wanted to have some conversation around what different organizations are doing along the lines of asset management. I know we're a little weak in that area, and definitely looking to improve. And if anybody wants to jump in, and I know when I was at Phoenix, I was impressed. The aviation, they had built something that kind of integrated, I think, with Oracle or something. They'd go out and scan with the smartphones when they did maintenance, and it kind of updated the PM and all that. And I was impressed with that, and not sure what you all are doing now, Stem. That was specific to aviation. I don't know if there's anything you guys are leveraging.
I can tell you that we've recently implemented Tanium.
Tanium.
So we're using that. It's basically collecting endpoint and server information.
Mm-hmm.
So originally the city of Phoenix, there was a number of departments that were basically cut off from central IT monitoring. We've addressed that. So now we're basically able to capture 100%
Oh, cool.
of assets. So that's the primary tool. And then we're using Remedy Force and Orion for monitoring those assets.
Okay. So Tanium and Remedy Force, anybody else do anything with regards to asset management?
This is Jeff with Avondale. We are looking at Tanium. That's an offering through the state. So we're looking at that option. And then currently we're using a product called Sassafras that goes out and it does the endpoint detection and does some reporting. And it's working for us, but we'd like to see what else is out there. So we're kind of exploring Tanium as well, see what that'll do. But we're just in the early phases of that.
Okay.
Yeah, Travis here at Maricopa, we've got ServiceNow. They're going to be using the asset management portion of that and the discovery tools inherent in that. And then we've also spun up Axonius. It's called Axonius specifically for security. And there was a whole review and study of those tools and whether or not ServiceNow would cover the kinds of discovery that the security folks were looking for, and ultimately decided that we needed to have the additional capabilities and insights of what Axonius will bring us. But the plan is that a lot of this will then ultimately reside in the CMDB, which we can have as kind of a master database. So that's what we're doing with it.
Okay, thanks, Ed. You guys have it, any of you have it integrated with the, I think Steve mentioned it, with the help desk software, and also with the procurement of PCs and, you know, different hardwares and that, is it integrated somehow to where we can retire assets and it can input new assets, or Steve, do you just run a scan periodically to kind of see what's on the network? How is it functioning?
Well, for Tanium, you have to put an agent on. So it's a lightweight agent. You know, one of our big concerns obviously was, you know, would it impact operations for that particular device? And Tanium was really a lightweight install, no impact that we've observed. So that's a good thing. But and it is a challenge in terms of, you know, if things are being put on the network without the agent installed. So that's definitely something that it's a relatively new program within the last year. So, you know, we still have some bugs to work out in terms of the process, but the intent is when you bring something in, you know, one of the first steps you do is install the Tanium agent on it, and you're off and running. But it is, I mean, from a help desk side, we do install, or we do, then we do have you know, Tanium collects it, and then we move it into our CMDB with Remedy Force. And so we do have it from a help desk perspective as well.
Cool.
So Robert Fisher, City of Scottsdale. We use our CMDB in Sharewell, which is now owned by Avanti. And I think Mesa, you guys also at least had Sharewell.
We do.
So our CMDB, when our assets come in, they do get barcoded and tagged by our technicians, and that's entered into the CMDB. We do scan our network. We still have SCCM. We did test Tanium, but we're staying with SCCM because it's part of our imaging process, and we were so robust on SCCM and how we're using it, that we're staying with that. And that feeds in and validates that inventory for items on the network. But we have so many public-based computers or computers that might be off network that we have several other systems that we feed inventory files from as well, using the API in Sharewell. We're actually in process of moving our barcodes to RFID barcodes. So we're just starting that right now, and we're going to have a system where we can go out and scan with the iPhones and catch a room a little bit easier, as opposed to having to go up and scan the individual barcodes of the computers, monitors, printers, you know, one by one. We'll be able to catch the rooms a little bit easier. We barcode those and try to validate our inventory once a year, because that's what justifies the replacement funds. So, you know, we want to keep that funding in line. But yeah, I think our process is pretty good, and we do retire those assets when they come in. We do the wipes of them and retire the barcodes and submit those barcodes into the finance system as well. So we have
That's
a
good,
pretty
yeah.
detailed inventory process.
I think that's where we struggle. I mean, well, it's laborious just managing the whole life cycle of equipment and that of the assets. And I even, we have a need in innovation and technology, but also, other departments like facilities and there are a bunch of other departments that are looking for asset management systems. And my vision or hope would be that we could find something that can, that's, I guess, nimble enough or, that you can, other departments can leverage it also. And that's the other reason I was curious about what folks were doing. We'll end up with, as an organization, 3 or 4 different asset management products out there. And it'd be cool if there was one that could get you most of the way there, and
Yeah.
eliminate some. So.
Just some thoughts there, Travis. We're building up ServiceNow to be our service platform. So we will, anticipate using that for life cycle management and all. That's not well developed at this point, but the CMDB is in there. The asset management is in there. Our ticket system is in there. So we're really kind of investing in that platform for these functions. In terms of one fits all, that's always a noble goal. But when you get into the facilities and those kinds of things, you start to get into the concepts of preventive maintenance and contractual maintenance and these other things that are critical functions for those kinds of departments, and therefore it makes more sense to tie their asset management into that kind of thing. Versus something that is just asset management. So just something to think about. You get that in transportation as well, with all their assets, flood control, their assets. You know what I mean? There's tangential functions in those departments that are really critical, and therefore it isn't so much a standalone asset management as it is a part of an overall platform that they use to manage their functions. So just something to think about.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And, IT aside and the other departments, when I was at Phoenix, at the water department, implemented a work order asset management, and then Public Works wanted something different. They didn't want to use that. They ended up using it, but it was a fight. Even though, a lot of the functionality would serve both places, and then aviation built their own thing, which was cool, and so you had all these different departments doing their own things, and it seems like there's a better way to do asset management, maybe, with IT aside, just as an organization. So, well, cool. But I appreciate that, Ed. Any other comments on this topic?
Travis, just one other thing. If you're really starting to embark on this, would be to understand whether or not you want to have the capability to interface it to your finance system. If they're tracking assets as part of their asset inventories, so they can do their depreciations and things like that. We found that with our radio shop. We have the public safety wireless system across the county, and those assets are tracked in, from a financial standpoint in our CGI finance. So we ended up having to build an interface between those systems. So just something to think about if you're going out and starting this journey. That might be something you think about. Is there some capabilities within asset management to interface, or at least have APIs or whatever, so that that might be something you want to do downstream. So something to think about.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Travis, from Mac's standpoint, we actually had a custom built application by our development department that ties into our SCCM. And so we tie in our POs and everything into this database and actually use it for asset tracking as far as when we need to do procurement for new systems. The big problem I'm having with SCCM though is tracking mobile devices because we're doing some always on VPN laptops that are kind of harder to track because people never bring them back.
Right.
So we are looking at Tanium through the state as well to handle some of that as well.
Okay.
If I can just add on, one thing that interested the city of Phoenix with Tanium was that they had a future plan for bringing in mobile devices, and they changed their direction on that. So now they're partnering with Microsoft and leveraging Intune versus building their own mobile device kind of component for asset management.
Okay. I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you all are doing as things mature. So the next item was a statewide cyber readiness grant program funds. So the committee members will discuss how they're using the statewide cyber readiness grant funds within your respective organizations. So I don't know who wants to jump in on that and kick it off. Who brought this up?
This was Linda Jeff's proxy from last meeting. Avondale.
Avondale. Oh, Jeff, this is one of yours, man. So I guess we're just trying to get a feel for how folks are using the statewide cyber readiness grant program funds.
Yeah, we're just taking advantage of all the services the state's providing. We're using their, like I say, we're reaching out. We've talked to them about Tanium, the most recent, we're using their CrowdStrike and, some of their other services they provided that way. So we were just curious, what's everybody else doing? Is there other, advantages? Is there other services you're getting from the state that, we should know about? I know that program kind of changes over time. And I think they just did a road show last week. I know I wasn't there, but we had somebody attend that as well. So just kind of curious with that. And is there any other funding sources out there for security and that sort of thing that people are looking at?
I know in Mesa, we had quite a bit of ARPA funds allocated that we're leveraging for cybersecurity initiatives. And so we hadn't tapped the state that much. And so we've got a pretty comprehensive list that we're trying to go through and check off. But you mentioned CrowdStrike and leveraging that. I'd like to hear more about how that's going for you, because we're looking at investing in CrowdStrike, and I'm wondering if we should do that, or if we should leverage the state's presence. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, we've been very pleased with CrowdStrike. We implemented it with the state licensing, some of that. And then we do have a security operations center that does a lot of our monitoring for us. So we were able to pay just a little bit to CrowdStrike and our SOC so they could manage that. But I think the state has a part where they're managing some of that as well. But we were able to, like I said, pay a small fee. It was very reasonable to our SOC, and they could actually manage CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike was really good to work with us with that licensing as well. And just did an add-on, so we just paid the difference between what the state provides versus that extra fee to have a third-party monitor for us. So it's been very good for us. It's caught a few things that complains every now and then. Which is that's what I guess. Let's make sure it's working right. It kind of runs in the background, and but it's been low maintenance otherwise.
Good. Yeah, we're about to ask for do a budget request for about $300,000 and $350 or something like that for CrowdStrike, and maybe I can save some face.
There you go.
So we're leveraging everything that they have except the multi-factor.
Mhm.
And we've been really happy with the CrowdStrike.
Okay.
We've actually been able to get access as a small organization to tools we would not otherwise have been able to afford, like Cloudflare. So definitely good process. We also used them, the National Guard, for some penetration testing. And they just did a fantastic job, very thorough, very detailed and usable report. And it didn't cost us a cent. So
I know we're reaching out to the National Guard also for pen testing. So, Steen, you guys leveraging any of the state offerings?
I mean, for example, with CrowdStrike, we use CrowdStrike as well, and we, beyond just the anti-malware kind of component, we use it for IR and a couple of other services, and they've been a fantastic business partner. They come in and they really help the business or organization along to bring in their tools and really help. It's definitely a partnership. So you know, if you're looking for a product or service like that, they're definitely a good one to look at. So I would definitely recommend it. You know, with regard to it's interesting, Travis, when you mentioned that you have kind of the full plate, and so you really weren't looking at the grant program. You know, I thought I was going to be embarrassed to say that that's the situation that City of Phoenix is in. We're so front loaded in terms of cyber related projects that literally we took a look at this, and it's hard to turn away money or hard not to go after money that's there, you know, right in front of you. And literally our plate was so full with things that we didn't feel that we could adequately take on more work this year.
Yeah. Cool. We're in the same boat. Any other
Yeah, Robert.
Oh, go ahead, Robert. Yeah.
Robert with the City of Scottsdale. We are bringing up a POC to test Cloudflare for the WAF, but we're also looking at other Cloudflare services not covered by the grant per se, and comparing it to our current F5 implementation. So we'll know more within the next 60 to 90 days about how that's going for us. So.
Okay. Ed, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Well, you know, like you mentioned, Steen and and Travis, we've had our share of ARPA funds, an embarrassment of ARPA funds almost. So we've and CARES money before that. So we really haven't tapped into the state too much. I think we partnered with the state on submitting one of the grants actually on behalf of the states, and ended up then winning that and then giving them the money. But beside that, so we're really not. The guys keep their eyes on it, but we're not really tapping into those services to a great extent. But just to add to the CrowdStrike discussion, we are also a CrowdStrike customer and have good success with that, and it's caught a few things for us. So any insight you want on that, I'd be happy to give that to you.
Did you replace any tools with CrowdStrike, or was it in a?
No, we did. We had Symantec, and we had some bunch of Symantec and Broadcom and all these other things out there. That company just destroyed itself. So we worked actively to get away from anything to do with Symantec or anything Broadcom was touching. And so, but then they just bought somebody recently. I can't remember who it was, which, here we go again. But I think it was the Symantec we got rid of to put the CrowdStrike in.
Okay. Cool. Did you guys get rid of anything with the?
Yeah, we got rid of Trend Micro to go to CrowdStrike, and our CrowdStrike also, I will say, it ties in with our security provider as well, and they also have the ability to contain systems using CrowdStrike. So if something breaks out, they can contain the system without actually reaching out to us. So it's just it's a great product, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Travis, this is Tom with El Mirage.
Hey.
Hey, so we went with CrowdStrike, replaced Bitdefender, probably a year or more ago, and it's been working well. We use the Thalos. I forget how you say the name. My security architect always wants to just call it Thales. It's kind of funny, but we use that MFA really just for our internal kind of admin accounts. we're using Microsoft MFA for other things, but that's been really straightforward, easy to use. And then we're not using Know Before product because we already I had signed a good 5-year subscription with them a while back, but Know Before has been great from a security awareness training perspective. And then we are evaluating Cloudflare and Tanium, looking to move forward with those tools. And I think Tanium looks like we're seeing if it might be able to replace ECM. So we're just kind of doing that evaluation and going to see how that goes.
Great. Yeah, I've challenged the team to do a tool rationalization. Our security folks, well, I guess just in general, we like tools, but they all cost money. And I'm like, at some point, the thing you're buying should replace something that you're using, right? I mean, at some point. And so we're doing this tool rationalization also. That's great to hear. Any other comments on this item? All right. 911 study committee is agenda item 6. Audrey will provide an update on the 911 study committee.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the committee, and Travis, please feel free to weigh in as needed here. So the 911 study committee is actually made of 2 co-chairs, who are city managers, as well as the chair and vice chair of the 911 oversight committee, the PSAP managers committee, and of course, Travis for TAG, and a number of police chiefs. This group is actually in the process, as you heard at a previous meeting, of reviewing the existing 7-year plan and evaluating the way forward. Right now, the group is working on getting consultant support to do an assessment of what the agencies would like a 911 system to look like, a review of the technologies available and what other peer agencies are doing, and then ultimately doing kind of a comparison against the ideal identified. So later today, we are actually reviewing the quotes that we've received for that consultant support. And if all goes well, we'll be taking forward a recommendation to the study committee and then to regional council to procure that consulting support. The ideal timeline would have the project being basically complete in April. But I wanted to just bring this back to this group's attention, keep this on your radar, because if we do proceed with the consultant selection, the project will start right at the beginning of February. And I am sure that some of you will be contacted directly or indirectly to talk about things like network technologies. I know in some cases that's separate, but for some of you, there's some overlap. And I just wanted to keep that on your radar as we move forward. Travis, did I miss anything?
Oh, I think that's it.
I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Have any questions regarding the 911 study committee?
Chairman, I have a question. So this is my first opportunity joining the tag. So is there a scope of work, or is there a description of the work that you're looking for with regard to this consultancy, and what do you see as the kind of the ultimate goal?
So there is a scope of work. It was approved by the study committee, and that's what we went out to 3 state contract vendors who do 911 work to get quotes on. I can actually provide you with a copy of that. But really it is what I said. So they're going to do this, meet with the PSAP managers, the city managers, and the top official in terms of 911 at each agency, and talk about what they would like the 911 system to operate, where they think that they need additional service. And then they're going to do a review of 5 peer regions throughout the country. And they're also going to be looking at the technologies and combination of technologies that are available hybrid cloud, how the different systems are funded. And then they're going to, after they've completed that process, they're going to do the kind of that synthesis, what we want versus what we can get. How does this, do these fit together? Where would we have to make trade-offs? Obviously, in every situation, people would ideally like everything. It might not be feasible to get everything we want for the money we have. And so kind of what those trade-offs would be. The study committee then will ultimately be working on recommending a way forward with this informing the process. And that would eventually work its way back up through the committee process. And I would suspect end up in another kind of strategic plan for how we'll move forward.
Chief Walker, Scott Walker, he's representing Phoenix on the study committee, and then the MR 911 administrator, she's
Liz
employed
Graber.
at Phoenix also, I think.
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Audrey. If there's not any more questions, that was for discussion only. And let's see, the next item is a agency project update. So I don't know who wants to start that. I'm looking at Tom. You happen to be the one on my screen. So do you guys have anything awesome going on out there in El Mirage that you want to share with us?
Well, I don't know that we have any things awesome regarding technology at this time. I mean, like I said, we were kind of evaluating the various other pieces of the cyber security grant opportunities there. But as far as El Mirage is concerned, probably the biggest news we have right now is just we're looking at we're doing some building kind of moves and reconstruction, if you will. We got a new library earlier or late in 2022. And so we're now looking to move our customer service to the old library and do some community services items out of the old customer service building. And then we're potentially going to be bringing a bond proposal to the residents to do a fire station, court building, and police expansion in the coming years. So exciting stuff, but not necessarily technology related.
All right, that's cool. I love hearing and seeing what's going on out in El Mirage. I actually went to elementary school at El Mirage Elementary School, and when I was a kid before I moved to Arkansas out there, and so it was funny. The story I always share is kind of put things in perspective. Back in the days, my grandmother would go out and ride bikes, and my grandmother would always tell me and my cousin not to go across the tracks. That was a bad part of town. So across the tracks was a surprise. So,
that's funny.
Things have changed. What else is going on out there? Anybody want to? Jeff, you got anything?
This year we just got a lot of kind of infrastructure upgrades going on. So we're trying to refresh some of our older SCADA systems and trying to harden some of that going on. We've just a lot of legacy IT stuff that's been pushed on the back burner because of everything else. I know that doesn't happen very often, but that's kind of where we're at. So we're just trying to dig out of that. It's kind of really what we got going on this year outside of, we're upgrading, we're moving our Acela platform for planning and engineering. We're pushing that to their SaaS product. So we got that underway. And then really just kind of looking at what's our cloud plan. I want to look at, can we shut down our data center in the next couple of years? So I'm going to see what that looks like and what's left to move. So we'll see where that goes.
You get any complaints from the business community with regards to Acela and the permitting process and doing electronic plan reviews or any of that? We're using Acela, and man, they just the permitting. The business community hates the process.
Yeah, it's a good question. I haven't heard a whole lot from the business community. We just implemented electronic plan review. We just went live with that first of the year. So that's a fairly new process from that, but it seems like more of our stuff's more just process internal than anything else that we are hearing from the cell. we hope we're hoping their cloud version cleans up some of the issues, but who knows? I know it's going to be a little slower too, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, just beware. We have we're in the cloud with Acela, and we have regular issues with degradation of services and that, and and then you call them and they like to explain how many other people are having problems, and I try to explain that I don't care what other people are having. I'm more worried about my problem. And so,
Yeah.
Travis, I did want to mention, since you were talking about permitting, that is something that slipped my mind. So we are in the process of a azmag.gov implementation. So it's moving slowly, but we're hoping to, by the time this group meets next time, hoping to be live with that. So we've heard good things from Oro Valley, who's also on azmag.gov, and then Maricopa, I believe, is on azmag.gov as well. So certainly outside Maricopa County, but nonetheless, we're excited about really kind of going to that next step of being able to offer those residents or business community that online component that we currently don't have.
oh, cool. Maybe in the future you can share your successes with us once you get going.
Yep.
Cool. What else is going on out there?
Travis,
Hey
I'd
there.
be happy
Oh,
to
go ahead.
give you some updates. First of all, on the Acela perspective, we had our fill of Acela for many years and gave up. And we are actually in a project right now to move to a Tyler platform. It's an active project, so we will definitely be moving away from Acela. The business really just hates that platform, and they can't wait to get off of it. So just note that. Other stuff, we just finished up Workday in the fall of last year, so we're continuing to build up the support processes and adding different modules and functionality to that. And so far, so good on that. And then we have put in place a new architecture group role, the chief technology officer in the county. So we're continuing to build up those processes and that structure and really putting that in place for us. So those are probably top of mind for us.
Cool. Thanks, Ed. Scottsdale?
We are continuing with a lot of the Bond 2019 projects that we had out there. Supply chain issues caused us delays, but we just finally replaced both UPS units in our primary data center. It took, a year and a half for one of those to fully come to fruition due to supply chain challenges. We're working on continued migration from our old document management system, OpenText, to Laserfish. We have 3 more departments to complete on that. We're also moving content management systems, but we're probably 6 to 8 months out on that for our websites. And right now it's all about the super season with all the events we have coming here in the next month and a half. So we're focused on that.
Going on in Scottsdale?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even have to be the event in Scottsdale. It's just all that will happen in Scottsdale because of all those events. So.
Absolutely. Good.
But yeah, just a lot's going on right now because of the Barrett Jackson, Waste Management Phoenix Open, Super Bowl, etc. So
Cool. Good deal. How about if we go across the tracks over there and see what Surprise is doing, Tammy?
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to make sure you could hear me. So just so you know, our permitting software it's an in-house product, but they actually purchased our CD department, purchased Camino. I can't tell you a whole lot about it, but for the electronic version of it, and they're really happy with it. I mean, they were using like Dropbox and other ways to get that, especially during the pandemic. But now they're spoiled, so nobody wants to come into City Hall anymore. So it's supposed to be a pretty good product. Nothing really regional. We are bringing in all 3 libraries in-house, that Maricopa's running. So that was kind of we're doing it fast. So I had no idea how much technology was involved in libraries It's pretty crazy. We also have a lot of large system replacements going on this year. We're doing our utility billing, cashiering. We're doing a needs assessment for our Tyler products. You know, we have it for finance and HR, and they're not happy. So I don't know that there's anything out there. We've had this discussion before, but so those are the bigger things that are going on.
Okay. Awesome. Anybody else?
Travis? I just
Yes.
wanted to provide an update that we are continuing to work on the migration of gyms from Tempe over to MAG. The development group recently gave a presentation to a number of your HR people who are participating in that process, showing the back end administration. So I just wanted to let the group know that that is continuing to move along at a good pace, and I will likely ask them to give a demo at either the next meeting after, depending on your schedules.
Has the participation picked up more than, I know it was slow going in the beginning.
We have since we're really doing kind of the iterative development process now, we have a small group, but an active group.
Okay.
And obviously, if any of your agencies want to participate more, we would welcome that. We're really gonna, at the end, I think, want to do some outreach and kind of a push to get more agencies to participate, to get that data back up to date and keep it current, because I don't know how many of you still use it, but I use it, and I think it's very useful.
Might be good for some of the new folks here to kind of get
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
So JIMS is the Job Information Management System. It's currently housed at Tempe, and it has a listing of the jobs, titles, pay grades, some benefit information. There's some uploaded policies, things really around employee pay scale, and it's useful for retention and benchmarking. So the agencies will upload their jobs, their grades, links to the actual jobs, so that we can do some cross comparison. And it's, of course, most useful when it's being kept updated. Tempe had not been able to do an update of that system for a while, and we've been partnering with them to kind of refresh the system, make some improvements so it's easier to use. The data can be automatically uploaded, and then hopefully do a real push to get a lot more participation and keep that useful to everyone.
Great. If there's nothing else, we can move on to agenda item number 8, which is request for future agenda items. What types of things do we want to hear from as a group or hear about?
Chairman, one thing that I would be interested in is what members of this group are doing related to supporting elected official offices from a case management or constituent management perspective. It's a project that the city of Phoenix just released an RFI for a constituent management system to support our mayor and council members. And I'd be curious as to how people are focused on supporting their elected officials as well.
Okay. Y'all can give that some thought. We're gonna agendize that. What else? Any other items we'd like to hear about in future meetings? Any presentations that might be?
It would be worthwhile, I don't know for the next meeting, but something you might want to just keep on the docket over the next couple of years really would be a periodic update on the broadband initiative going on in the region. I think we had them in, if I recall correctly, to give a pitch on that. But these are these are now active projects going on. We're putting a lot of funding into that. We get a monthly update because our money's involved there. But it would be the ASU Levgonic group, the regional group. What the heck are they calling themselves? Light the Desert or whatever it is, whatever that is. That maybe a couple times a year or once a year, even just what's happening, what progress are they making, what's happening with that. So it's something to think about for you guys.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now I'm hearing a silence, so we move on. Craig, can you please summarize any tasks assigned during the meeting?
Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. We don't actually have any tasks assigned for this
Okay.
meeting. I'll start reaching out individually to all TAG members about agenda items, see if they have any recommendations for guest speakers, so
Okay.
we can start fleshing out the next few agendas. So I'll start reaching out one-on-one.
Okay.
So we can get
Great.
something of get some additional items as well, and I'll work on next month's the March agenda. So thank you.
Awesome. So the next meeting of MagTag is scheduled for Thursday, March 16th, 2023. These years are just flying by at 10 a.m. So it's going to be hybrid again. If you can get here, come on in. We'd love to see you in person. Ed, yours right down the, well, I guess I'm, yeah, yours right down the road. But I'm looking at this as, so encourage you to come in if you can, if we have to be here. Bob Barker would say, come on down. Well, there's nothing else. So business is now concluded.
Travis, if I may, pick up where you were headed there. I will let the group know that this will be my last meeting. I'm retiring from the county on March 2nd. So appreciate all of the good meetings we've had and the constructive collaboration we've had with this forum. So thank you for that. And we'll be keeping an eye on Maricopa and Arizona from Michigan, but it's been a great run here, 5 years at the county. So looking forward to moving on.
Definitely gonna miss you, and I didn't want to spill the beans. And
I saw you dancing.
yeah, right. After I got to talking, I'm like, man, how do you get out of this?
Yeah. So just so you know the dynamics there, the county manager is also retiring. Joy Rich is retiring in April. And so she will not replace this role. There'll be an acting, she's going to leave that to the new county manager, whoever that ends up being. So there'll be an acting in this role that hasn't been determined yet, but you can keep our eye on that. I'll make sure they know about the meeting, and if they want to participate and so on, we'll certainly have them aware of what goes on. So that's how it will play out tactically.
All right. Well, we'll definitely stay in touch, and you can keep letting us know how your music's going and all those things, or whatever else you're doing out in Michigan. We're gonna miss you.
All right. Good show, everybody.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.